let's get to the final pitches and the final presentation. And this final presentation will be live streamed on our Facebook channel, just for your information. So everything you will be doing here will be live streamed, yeah. And it will be shown later on our YouTube channel as well. So please follow us on social media if you want to. As you have already realized, of course, we have a jury, yeah, who will decide who will be the winning teams in our 6 categories. And you've already met them, but our audience that has come to share these moments with us may not have met them yet, so I would like to introduce them. They're sitting right on the first row here. Please welcome Jonas von Malotki from Daimler. Maybe you want to get up for a few seconds. Thank you. Joachim Erdle von LBBW, Dr. Katharina Schubert from MHP, Carsten Treiber from Targens, and Andrei Machuk from KI Decentralized. So they will have the hard work to decide really who will be the winner of over 200 participants. And I would like to show the prizes again. So let's talk about prizes. There are 6 different categories and 6 different prizes to win. So one of them, and the first one, is the most visionary concept endowed with 3,000 euros. You can see it right behind me on the screen. The second would be the best technical implementation, also endowed with 3,000 euros. Then we have the best business model, endowed with 3,000 euros as well. And we will give away 2 prizes for the sponsored Hackathon challenges, 2,000 euros each. And what is brand new to the second blockchain hackathon here in Stuttgart is the audience prize. Okay, so our audience, you can also vote for your favorite concept. I will explain how this works later on. And this will be endowed with another 2,000 euros. And the winning team of the audience prize will get 2 free entrance cards for the Blockchain Future Festival. And the winners of all categories will be able to present their projects at the blockchain campus of the IHK Stuttgart on the 19th of February. So that'll be exciting too. In a few seconds, we will announce the sequence of the final presentations of our 19 teams to show in which order they will have their final pitches on stage. There are a few rules, of course, for these final presentations. We would like to look at them with you. So in a few seconds, as I said, there will be the sequence of the final presentations of the teams. Each team will have 3 minutes to present their final pitch. Then the jury will have 3 minutes to ask any questions that may have arisen during the presentation. And then we will change the team. So as soon as you see yourself on, let's say, the second spot, the first one has already made their presentation, please be ready just next to the stage, so we will have a quick transfer here. You may, of course, show your prototypes if you got one. Please always be prepared, so even if you're the third one in line, always be next to the stage. And as I said, there will be an audience. We even have a baby here in the audience. There will be an audience prize. The baby will not be able to vote. And just to tell you how this works, if you are an external audience, once the team has showed its presentation, and once the jury has asked the questions, we will have 2 minutes change between the teams. So the one team will leave the stage and the other team will come up. Those would be those 2 minutes where you actually will be able to vote for your favorite concept. And you can log in your favorite concepts online. You will see the internet address just, yeah, there it is. So it's live.voxvote.com. You will have a pin to do so. And you will have 4 options, okay? So if you saw a concept, you will have 4 options. Either say, wow, this really impressed me. It's revolutionary. Or you'd say, yeah, it's really great, it's amazing to me. Or you say, well, yeah, that was okay, so good. And if you think, oh, that was like medium, I was not so impressed, then you could say it was okay. So you have 4 options to vote, and of course, the concept with the best votes will win the audience prize. So after each presentation, as I said, there will be this vote by the audience. And after all the presentations that we've seen, we will have a 30 minutes break. We will invite you for coffee, tea, and cake in the cafeteria. And this will be the time the jury will have enough time to talk about and to decide on the winner. So you will not be able to get cake and coffee, I'm sorry. So let's take another look at our 3 challenges, so our audience knows what we're talking about. So we had 3 different challenges. 1 challenge from the LBBW Bank in regards to finance. Then there was a challenge from Daimler referring to mobility. And then we had our overall challenge, converging the crypto universe into industrial IoT. So what we will now see will be the sequence of the team. Yeah, so I've got it here somewhere. Well, you will see it too, but I'm still searching it. Ah, there it is, okay. So, first of all, there will be tree call. I actually read this out because it's really interesting. You found some great names. So, tree call will be the first to present. Then, block book. On the 3rd spot, CGC. And then we have Crypto Crumbs, The Cube, CryptoManiacs, iPrint, The Abilizers, Data Park, Hyperprivacy. This is very interesting. In use veritas, you can later on tell us how this is pronounced. Juve or Juve, Zietler, Releatherum, Rocket Billing, Schrödinger's Cats, very interesting. Start Block, TrustX, and Thank Me Later. I really like that. So, you already saw who will be the first to pitch live on stage, so I may ask a tree call to come up first. Where are you? Okay. So, please come to stage. This is your applause. So just for your information, dear tree call team, we have a timekeeper here. His name is Alex. Yeah? So he's holding the laptop, showing 3 minutes once you have started. So it would be a good idea to, sometimes look at him, even if you're not a girl. But so whenever you are ready, we will start the time. They will have 3 minutes to present their final pitch. Are you ready? Yeah, it should be on. Can you just make it another test? Can I just, but it's switched on, right? Yeah. Technic? The mic's not working yet. Can we just check it again? Have a little sound check here. Maybe you try again. The cover's there. Okay. Otherwise, maybe you just use the desk. Is that okay for you? Do you have to move around?
It's okay.
Okay, for the time being. Okay, are you ready to start?
No. Okay.
Yeah? Okay, now go. 3 minutes from now.
Hello everyone, we are TreeCall and we are tackling the problem of recalls. 2017, for every new released BMW, there were 6 recalls. And the process of a recall is really time consuming. Most of the participants don't share a common database and it takes a lot of time to reach all the end customers and finally get their cars to be recalled. And sometimes you don't even reach the customers because they might already have sold their car or replaced the defect parts. So in our solution, we have an OEM, let's say Daimler, and they detect a lot of cars with a broken brake. They then contact their suppliers, their brake supplier, and the brake supplier himself can contact one tier lower and go to the brake pipe supplier, and maybe finally they will figure out where the problem lies. And after that, we can go back up in our tree and contact all other manufacturers, OEMs, who use these defect parts, so they can all recall their products. So let's look at our little demo we made. Okay, so we have the UI of a car, like a board computer on one side, and we have the UI of Daimler on the other side. And now they just say, okay, one of our brakes needs to be recalled because we have some malfunctioning parts. This will get written on a blockchain, and after the confirmation, the car will show that the brake is not working anymore or will not be working anymore in the future, and they should go check a workshop soon. This can be repeated with other parts. For example, the airbags might also be broken, so the car will notify the customer and tell them, please go check your airbags. Let's go back here. We also challenged our business case, and we made a business model canvas for that purpose and came to the conclusion that we have a lot of value for all participating parties to be created with this use case. You can ask about that later if you want. And our vision for the future is a predictive defect management system in which we also analyze all the data that we have on the blockchain currently, not only go up and down the tree and notify about already broken parts, but also prevent parts from being manufactured, or even prevent accidents from happening by just telling the car you might have some problems soon.
And over.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please ask them now, or you can check out our GitHub where you can see our test-driven developed code base. Thank
Give
you.
it up for Tricor. Thank you. I will leave the microphone for the jury now, but you can answer at the desk if that's okay for you. Thank you. So I'm sure there are a few questions. I saw you writing down some comments. Who would go first? And we start the jury round now.
Can you give us a quick insight how deep you go within the technical implementation? I mean, how far have you gone in terms of technical implementation?
What was the question?
How far we developed?
We have a node or a general node for the OEMs and suppliers, and we have a general node which can run for cars or any other device. So it not only depends on car parts, we can also use refrigerator or something like that. So this all is implemented yet. It's all in Solidity for the Ethereum blockchain, so that there is a trust and everybody can see the defect and can reach the data.
Yeah, the backend is running on the other laptop we have right here.
So the example was also running on a local blockchain. We also deployed on the Robson testnet, but that will take too much mining time for the presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, and you only had 36 hours. Katharina?
Hi guys. How do you motivate or incentivize the suppliers to be part of that?
Yeah, I guess that the business is more and more looking for new customer services, and that would be really a great customer service if the customer knows that even if he buy a used car, that he will get notified if there is a recall, or even, yeah, I guess it's the service behind it, and also the blockchain as a service, so we can run the nodes for the customer. So
yeah, also a service that OEMs could offer is that, for example, they see a specific brake only last 100,000 kilometers, then they could notify all the cars that have 90,000 or something like that, and then ask them to recall, and that's a great service for their customers.
For the customers, but for the suppliers, you need the suppliers to be
How do you
part of
attract
that.
the suppliers?
Yeah, how do you attract the suppliers to join your network?
And we have 40 seconds for the answer.
I guess it's over the customers, right? If you don't have this service, the customer will choose a supplier which has the service. I guess so.
So, and plus the recalls during more levels might get cheaper for them as well.
Oh, yeah.
You save a lot of time because if some part is broken, it almost instantly gets traversed through all levels of the tree. So you save a lot of time and personnel to communicate these recalls.
Yeah, maybe we can go back to
Okay, we have
this
another
one.
5 seconds.
So we would do that with just one click. So instead of sending letters, finding out the customer relationship management, who has which part and stuff like that. So this you would be able to do with just one click. Yeah, sure. Cost, efficiency, I guess, yeah.
Okay, the time's over for our jury question round. Thank you very much. Give it up to Tricon. Thank you. So as you already realized, it's good to have quick answers so the jury can, get hold of all their questions. So now is the time that our audience can decide upon this concept that you have just been seen, that have just been presented. So if you could log in yourself at our, do we see it again? No. Okay, if you just log in yourself at our audience winning website, and there you can then say, oh, I liked it, it was amazing, it was medium. So you have 4 different options to choose from, and you have 2 minutes to do so. And within those 2 minutes...
It was there for a second.
Okay, there you have it. You can see it again, so please log in. Maybe you just have it open for the next few concepts that you will see. So actually you can vote 19 times today because we have 19 teams. And you always have 2 minutes after the Q&A round with the jury. In the meantime, our next team, Blockbook, is getting ready for their final presentation.
You can delete. You can go out.
And I'm realizing you have a lot to discuss here, so it's very interesting to, what you feel like, how you like the first concept, the first idea. And once the new team is ready, we will give the starting signal to the next concept. You ready? So give it up for Blockbook, please.
Thank you.
And we're starting the time now.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here. So what we've been working on this past weekend will change the customer's perception of OEMs completely. And it's online and it's on Hyperledger. We are Blockbook, and with our solution, vehicle owners can get a fairer price for their used vehicle on the market. The problem that we've been working on this past weekend is on the used vehicle market, and it has 3 main issues. 1, vehicle data is often manipulated, meaning, at least in Germany, we have a third of all vehicles in the used market have manipulated mileage. Secondly, vehicle owners on the market fail to get a fair price because they lack the trust and they lack the transparency and the proof of what history went with the car. Thirdly, OEMs currently do not support used vehicle owners on the market. So our solution for this was to develop an asset tracking system that enables the user to get more trust on the market and a better value for what he has. And with this system, we track, beginning in the production at this example Daimler, tracking the information from the production, leading over to the point of sales, getting the information, monitoring the information that has been ordered from the customer, moving on towards the service, tracking the information that has been, that the history of the car has gone through, any changes, has the service been completed on time, leading on to certifications, let's say emission standards that the car has received, and finally also informing about how many owners the car has had in the past. The market for used vehicles is huge. In America alone, globally, we have 128 million vehicles sold annually. In Europe, with 25 million cars sold on the used car market, this amounts to 234 billion euros. And the gap that we've found here has an opportunity of 75 billion euros in Europe.
So now we will show our solution. It's built on top of Hyperledger. It's already running on the URL from the first screen. And on top of it, we built 3 applications. The first one is for the owner of the car, where they can select different technical services or technical checks. They can schedule checks for the car. The second application is for service providers, where they can see all the orders assigned to them. And they can complete one, attaching all the information for the task that was being done on the car. And they can also add always the mileage. Just 15 seconds. The same for the technical side. And when a potential buyer wants to buy a car, they can ask the current owner to share a unique address where they can check all the history of the car, so they are sure that the car is in good conditions.
Okay, you need to come to an end. Are you finished? Okay, thank you very much. Big applause for Blockbook. Please stay with us. Yeah, exactly. You can answer through those microphones there. The jury really has some, I already saw it taking photos. So you definitely have some questions here. We will start the time now. Who wants to go first? Carsten?
Can you tell us a little bit about your technical implementation?
Sure. So we deployed 6 nodes on Frankfurt.
A bit closer, maybe.
We deployed 6 nodes on Frankfurt on a data center to simulate different participants. You can see the diagram here. All it's running on the same URL on the first screen. We use a single box for development purposes, and when it was ready to deploy, we deployed to production. And then we have a proxy and 3 front ends. The interesting part is Hyperledger, of course. We used Hyperledger Fabric. And the whole participants, the assets, and the transactions are implemented on the API. And the client in the proxy, where the front end communicates with. And this morning, we managed to connect some of the assets, participants, and one transaction from the clients to the Hyperledger cluster, because before that we had mock data.
Thank you. Another 2 minutes.
If you were a startup, how would you make money out of this idea?
Yeah, basically this is a platform. So the idea is if you want to convince different stakeholders to join the platform, you have to make it open and standard. And the way to make a business out of it is like the internet. You basically build products and services on top of it, like the applications, or you can do analytics, big data, detect trends in the cars when they get repaired, and value and services on top of the platform. The platform should be open and standard, like the internet or a blockchain, basically.
Any other question? No? You're fine? Okay. Last question from my side. How many hours did you sleep last night?
He slept on a table like 3 hours.
On a table, okay. You did a lot of programming work, and we give you a big applause for this. Thank you. Blockbook. So now's the time for our audience to vote again for the audience prize. Please give us your comment and your opinion about Blockbook and their final presentation. Now we have a little feedback here, so that's okay. So while the next team is getting ready, please give it up for CGC to come on stage. Big applause. So while they are getting ready for their presentation, you may still vote for the audience prize, please. And once you're ready, are you ready? You're ready? Ready and set, okay. Then I'd say we start.
Which one? Okay, this way.
The time now.
Just a moment.
No, we stop again. Technology is not working. So also for you, if you can keep an eye on our timekeeper, he will show you.
Thank you very much. The team here is so practical.
Alex will show you the 3 minutes elapsing time. And once Valentina has supported us, give it up for Valentina, by the way. She's doing all the slides here and all the work. Quite a stressful job, but she's managing really well. Okay, and we start the time now. Let's go.
Let's go. Great. Thank you very much, everyone. Come here. We are the team CGC, and let's have a look. What are we doing here? So, do you know the names from here? Yeah, that's the name, right? And then, what are you doing here? The names, the companies. Basically, they do the auditors for companies. They charge a lot of money. How much money they charged? Do you know? How much? How much? Let me see. This is the money. This is the money, what I wanted to do. And as I promise to you, I will make money. Then I will make money from here to make the data transfer and transparency. As you see, the big money here, they increased every year. What should they pay for that? Because the company want to make the data trustful and transparent. It's exactly the blockchain can do. And this is the solution for that. For traditional way, they are doing the things with regulations, with all the channels, the people, the details, go to the company, look at the books, and get a certificate. But ours, with technology, with UTAS, with EVS, we can check the data every time, in real time, and make sure for every people who like interested to have the data, to see the data. This is our technology solutions. Let's go.
And this model is our solution, and there are three layers here. The first, the data and the from and the customer, and the from can upload the raw data to the server, and server will do the initial analysis to the raw data, then send the data, issue the transaction to the user, and in the same time, the server will send to the data to AWS to store the data, because the limited storage of the blockchain and the user. And there is the front end here can visualize the data. If a customer want to read the data and get data from the web page in the front end, it can read it from here. And then customer, in the same time, customer can perform the integrity check using the public key. And to ensure the data is untampered, at the end, the customer will get verified data from our model, from our this system.
18 minutes to go.
Yes, let's see what we're doing.
Here is a video to explain our idea on the YouTuber.
3 seconds.
Okay, here, yes, they're coming. They're coming.
And Silicon, there is also technical from here.
Okay, so basically.
You can begin from the.
It's only very shortly.
So that was a quick walkthrough. Okay.
From begin?
I think I'm just looking at the judge. Do we still allow this?
Yes.
Okay. While you're showing this, exactly, we will start the 3 minutes round for asking questions by the jury.
So what did you implement?
What did you implement?
Basically, we implemented a UTAR. We can upload the data from the we have to show to our customers. We upload to the UTAR and also to AVS. And also, in different way, we can see from the terminal to see the data. Also with the private key. Because if you don't have the right to see the data, you cannot to see the data. You cannot check the data.
Yeah, another question? I may just repeat the question if you want to, then you don't have to do the switching back and forth. Another question from the jury? You're speechless? Joachim?
How about the vision regarding the data which you're collecting? I mean, there's a lot of data which will be transferred back and forth. What else do you think you can do out of that?
The microphone is coming.
Yeah.
Valentina has a hard job.
I don't know if I correctly understand your questions. If the data, we have the data policies, also take regulations from the customer, also from the factory producers, and we also very care about that. We make sure the AJB agreement with them, and make sure we can use this data. And also, it's win-win situation. Make the producer we publish the data on the front end, to the investors, something like that.
Okay, we still have another minute and 30 seconds. Another question? No, you're fine? Okay, I just want to emphasize there was female support even in this team. Give it up for this lady.
Yeah, let's welcome Sarah.
So, no, she wants to jump off stage right away. So give it up for CGC. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we will now start our time for the audience voting prize. If you want to check in online again and log in your comments, please. And the next team is coming up stage. Please give it up for Crypto Crumbs. So while they will get ready, just 4 of them. Before we had a team with 5 members, even a female team member, which I really appreciated to see girls doing programming as well. So Valentina is already set and ready with the next presentation. Are you fine, guys? Okay, the time is now running for Crypto Crumbs.
Hi everyone, so let's start it. We have implemented B2B solution for logistic transportation companies, providing shipments, deliveries to local countries and international. We solve following problems. Logistic companies can verify consistency of their data using blockchain. Blockchain helps to verify the data is not corrupted and it's not fake. And we have implemented artificial intelligence algorithms in order to provide a rating of trust for the companies and help to calculate some predicting data. For example, suggest routes for deliveries. It's applicable for many industries where it's very important to deliver sensitive products. For example, medical supplies, foodstuff, hardware, and so on. An entire diagram you can see in this slide, but in general, the idea is that each shipment container is equipped with smart reusable IoT device that contains a lot of sensors capturing various data. For example, humidity, lighting, GPS, acceleration data. Once data is collected, hash sum is calculated and is written to blockchain. Then blockchain returns transaction code, and plain data with this transaction hashed code is sent to centralized database. We have a machine learning layer constantly learning information from this database, and operators at logistic companies can monitor state of their shipments in real time. All members of supply chain they should sign up a smart contract function. And here is a demo. Operator at logistic company can register his container. He can pick up available device. He can send shipment ID. Shipment ID is internal ID at logistic company. Provide some details, weight, height, width, and so on. And operator should set minimum and maximum range of values that we should consider to be normal. And we have a dashboard that the logistic company can see. It's a grid data representation. It's all data that was captured by IoT device. And map view representation. User can see zoom in, zoom out, move mouse to map point in order to see more details. Actually, that's it. Do you have any questions?
Perfect timing. Thank you very much. Give it up for Crypto Crumbs. And our Q&A round will start now.
So the implementation, was this only a mock-up or did you really write something?
From this implementation, only IoT device is a mock-up. We have implemented some simple console application that sends data to blockchain and to the server side. But machine learning current implementation consider robust and Ethereum network, but it's pretty easy to switch to real Ethereum and integrate a Hyperledger if necessary.
Thank you very much. Another question from our jury? No? None? Okay. Yes? Carsten? What about the business model?
Actually, at the moment, I see 3 business models available. First one, we can sell device and subscription to see data from this device. Another thing, we can provide API, subscription for API for analytics data that is being calculated by machine learning algorithms. And the last one is a white label solution for big clients.
Okay.
We can just deploy private blockchain network for them.
Thank you very much. Is there a remaining question on behalf of the jury? No? None? You're happy? Okay, then give it up for CryptoCrumbs. Thanks for your presentation. Thank you very much. And we will start the audience voting phase now. Please vote or just give your comment on the final presentation that you've just seen. While the next team is coming up stage, the Cube, very interesting name. Give it up for the Cube. 3 of you, okay. So this seems to be a prototype, looks very interesting, filled with beer. Good content, yeah. So while the team is getting ready, I hope you're just giving us our comments or your comments on the last presentation. So then we have an audience prize at the end of our final pitches. This looks very implosive, actually. And while Valentina is, do you need the microphone here? Do you want to start or?
Wait.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, so you're ready to start? Just pay attention to our timekeeper, please, and you're ready to start now.
Hi, this is Tim. Tim is the logistics manager of a big pharmaceutical company. His vaccines are transported all around the world. These vaccines need to be in perfect temperature and humidity conditions throughout the entire process. Many at times, these vaccines are damaged by the time it reaches the customer. Who's responsible for this? It's very difficult to find out. I mean, look at the supply chain. There are so many middlemen involved. Tim knows that blockchain can help him with this, but he doesn't know how exactly it could, because he feels it's a bit complicated. There are many people in the world who has ideas for blockchain, but they feel it's a bit complicated technology, and they don't want to put their hands in it. This is our solution. This is the problem, and this is our solution. We give you the Cube. The Cube is a device, blockchain-enabled plug-in device. It's just ready to use. It is a device which has all the sensors that you need, interface ports, and the software built in to communicate with the distribution ledgers in real time. So you can just log into our website and choose whichever sensors you want, whatever communication ports you want based on your application, and then just buy it. You just have to use it. For instance, in Tim's application, he just has to buy this thing based on what sensors he needs, pack it along with his medicines, and send it away. If a problem happens, he can just log in and check where exactly the problem happened in his dashboard. The best part is he can prove it directly to his clients, logistics company, insurance, legal, everywhere, using just this one thing.
Okay, but this is just one application of the Cube. It can be used in all kinds of supply chains, in automobile, food, etc. Right? And our business model is subscription-based. Yeah? Our customer pays us a yearly subscription or something. Now, here's what we actually implemented for today. Imagine, this is a crate containing valuable superconductors used by Daimler, or just valuable beer, whatever. Attached to this is the Cube, as you can see, with a motion sensor. Now, something unusual happens. Something unusual happens. Now this should update in some time. Now it updated, it fucking updated, it's great. Now, unexpected. This uses we use the actual IOTA main network, yeah, for this. We use no kind of weird test network, doesn't have nothing to do with reality, this was real network. So, right, but this is what we did for today, yeah, but this is just the beginning. We envision a future where the Cube will make all kinds of devices blockchain enabled. Yeah, you plug in the Cube to your car, it gives it an identity, a wallet, connection to distributed ledger technology. Or a production machine in a production line. Plug it in, production data is transmitted to the distributed ledger. The cube will make blockchain actually usable in practice.
Thank you very much, and time's over. He wants to keep the microphone, he's not giving it away anymore. We will now start our Q&A round. 3 minutes elapsing. Who of you has a specific question? You're still thinking about it, or Carsten, you want to go first?
What about the security? You have an cube, you buy the cube and you put it into a package or something. How can you be sure that the cube is in that package and not someone else came with that and manipulated it?
The cube is a very closed system. It's a black box, and it's also smart. Like somebody tampers it, like who's not one of our service technicians, it rings an alarm or whatever. Also, it's smart. Like if it notices that it's being like put in a fridge while the other goods are spoiling, it will notice this. Yeah, but this is actually a challenge that we have to think about. It is everything's encrypted, obviously, as well, right? But this is a good question. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, you're right. Like.
Thank you for this question, Carsten. Any other question? Joachim?
What are your ideas regarding the business case behind that? I mean, any ideas how to sell that stuff and market it, and I don't know?
So basically, we feel that everyone has problems. They don't want to use the blockchain because it's complicated. For us, our product is the cube. We sell it as a service to our customers. They take our service for they pay for us yearly. We rent it out to them. We give them the UI, everything. This is our first business model. So.
Yeah, in medicine, it's really simple. Like you want to be sure that your drug actually works and doesn't kill you, right? There's a case for that. Like if I would be taking drugs.
In the automotive industry, for instance, the battery. Yeah, for instance, in the automotive industry, the batteries need to be transported in exact temperature and humidity. So irrespective of which industry you are in, you need this. In the food industry, you can see how important it is.
Thank you. We have 1 minute to go. Anyone who wants to raise another question? No, you're fine? Okay, then give it up for the cube. Thank you very much. So I now again ask the audience to vote for this final presentation by the cube. And while our next team, the CryptoManiacs, are getting ready with their prototype, which looks even more complicated, that'll be an interesting tool to explain within 3 minutes. I'll be excited to hear about this. And you're just the two of you, right? As a duo team. And once they're ready, Alex will give them the time. 3 minutes from, you haven't pushed the button, from now. Go!
So, hi everyone, our project is Jobber Car. Let your car earn money for you.
Today's cars are parked most of the time, and this is highly unprofitable for their owners. So we decided to establish peer-to-peer relationships to allow self-sharing cars to work for global economy.
So our solution contains front-end UI implementation for all participants, which communicates between each other through smart contracts.
This is a story about renter a car. It should open a decentralized application, authorize it with an U-port, and then discover a car and book it.
So if you stay in front of the car, you can scan such a QR code, which is protected, cryptographically protected, invented by Anton Bukov. And after that, you are able to rent the car to pay for the drive.
So when we came up with this idea, we were faced with a lot of different problems and have a chance to solve some of them. So we solved a problem. We implemented user interfaces for every participant. implemented vehicles announcing and discovering within Ethereum smart contracts. Merkle tree based expiring QR codes containing cryptographic protection. Ask about it. Encrypted location updates for the car owners, certification centers flow, and also ability to pay with any possible Ethereum-based cryptocurrency, which will be automatically converted to the desired cryptocurrency of the car owner.
So, our business model?
Looks great.
Just kidding. So manufacturers like Daimler can offer such self-sharing cars like they already do it with Smart for friends, but they can offer it for the other people. Also, the search centers should share the revenues. So we are CryptoManiacs. Sergey and Anton, if you have any questions, you're welcome.
Big applause for CryptoManiacs. Thank you very much. How long did you sleep last night?
I was sleeping 3 hours tonight. Last night,
2. Yeah, it looks like it. Very busy.
5 hours.
Very busy. Okay, we will start with our Q&A round from the jury now. Anyone volunteering for the first question? It looks like Jonas has a question.
What's the Merkle tree thing there? So how does it work? No, I know how the Merkle tree works, but why is the QR code protected?
Why we need Merkle tree and what it protects. We use Merkle tree to protect car from being renting from the distance, because this can abuse some car renters or even some cars. So people are able to rent a car only if they are located near it and can see codes. These codes are expirable. We configure them to expire every 2 minutes. Every QR code contains private key, index of the private key, and Merkle proof to the root. Smart contract stores only roots of this series of these private keys. And when you see some private key in some moment of time, when you try to rent it, you send to smart contract special information allowing smart contract to check if you really see this private key in this moment of time and it is not expired yet.
Are you satisfied with that answer, Jonas? Okay, anyone else to go? Carsten, Joachim, Andre,
and we use
Katharina?
private keys, not just signatures, because signatures can be front-runned.
Okay, Joachim has another one for you.
Just a quick one. I mean, if I want to use my own car again, I mean, I market it through your platform and then I want to use it by my own. How do you incentivize that the car will be available to myself?
In a clean condition.
Okay, all car owners can set up special schedule when their car will be available to other people. And they can use their car in other time. Or even if you gave your car ability to be rented, you can just rent another car.
If I don't bring the car back, what happens?
Just grab another car.
Great idea. Last question, Andre?
How did you implement that payment with any Ethereum-based crypto token?
We used a special smart contract-based exchange, Kyber network. It allows within a single transaction perform multiple conversions from any desired supportable token to any token or other.
Okay, thank you. That was our question round. Give it up for CryptoManiacs. Cheers. And again, I would like to ask our audience to vote for CryptoManiacs, while the next team, iPrint, is coming up stage with another prototype that looks really interesting to me. Including a printer. Okay. No beer this time. So, and while Valentina is getting our technology ready, she always has to switch back and forth between different laptops. Sometimes. we will get to iPrint. Now we understand the meaning of the name as well, right? Of their team name. So once you're ready, Alex will take the time. And we will start. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Okay, give it up for iPrint. Go.
All right. So my name is Robin, and I'm representing the team iPrint. We're taking on the IoT challenge, and our idea is to enable decentralized manufacturing as a service using blockchain technology. Now the problem is the managing of intellectual property in additive manufacturing. So the filing and protection of those product models requires new mechanisms. So as a digital content creator, you're not being incentivized to share your digital content, and therefore you're less likely to do so. Another problem are centralized networks, and due to the incompatibility between those centralized networks, there are often third-party services required that provide middleware, and that will cause some lock-in effects for companies. Now this is our solution, right? This is our platform. We have a designer uploading that 3D model to the platform, and then the customer can select the model on our platform. Then the 3D model will be sent to the owner of the 3D printer, and the customer can then pick it up on the location of the printer. Now let's check out our business model. We have two products, one running on a permissionless blockchain, and our customer segment will be the private individuals. Our key activity will be maintaining the public network. Our value proposition is to incentivize content creators, and our revenue stream will be the fees for matching the orders. Now for the permission blockchain, our customer segment will be businesses, and the key activities will be to set up new permission networks and also consulting. Now for the value propositions, we have a trustless and scalable on-demand manufacturing system, and the revenue stream will be in the consulting and the installation part. Now our vision is to incentivize content creators and enabling on-demand manufacturing using blockchain technologies. So once we have established a community, we will have a great pool of designers which will deliver quality content. And so users, our customers, can make use of this content. And once we have established the community, we will also have a big pool of 3D printers, and therefore this will reduce the distance between the customers and the 3D printers, and therefore eliminating some of the logistic costs, such as transportation and storage. Now, we have developed a proof of concept, which is called iPrint 1.0, which is running on the permissionless Ethereum blockchain. A user sends a file to IPFS, which will then include a transaction with the hash of this corresponding file and send to the Ethereum network. Now, the transaction triggers a printer, and the printer prints the file. And that's our solution. If you want to check it out, you're more than welcome to do so. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. Thank you very much.
On the spot. Thank you very much. This is your applause. So any question for our team iPrint from the jury? The time is elapsing now. Please be free. Yeah, Andre?
Where is the payment flow here? Payment. How to pay, how to...
Can we go back a few slides to the solution? So as we can see here, we have the blue value flow, right? So once the process of the printing has been completed, it will automatically trigger a transaction which will distribute the value to the corresponding stakeholders. So the customer payment will be distributed to the owner of the 3D printer, to our platform, and to the designer of the digital content.
Okay. Any more questions? None? No? Yeah, Katharina?
What about substituting the pool of designers by, I don't know, design rules or something like that, so that business customers could make designs, product designs on their own?
I didn't really understand the question. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Want to have their own design.
Okay. So the idea when using additive manufacturing is to actually protect the digital content of someone who is providing those 3D models, right? So you would have to set up some very strict rules using smart contracts so that the manufacturer that is using their services is actually not exploiting that, and therefore the digital content creator will always be rewarded by giving them the idea. So this can always work out because there can be new models. You know, this is a very dynamic situation where new models have to be created very spontaneously and then can be provided by the content creator for example, prototyping and so on.
Thank you. Any more questions? No, you're fine. Okay, then give it up for iPrint, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thanks. So our next team to come up stage are the Analyzers, and they are including 2 girls as well, which I'm really happy to see. Please vote for iPrint now on our online web page. So we will get a result here too.
A moment, we test if it works.
And the next team's on stage. How many hours did you sleep last night? 4 hours, so so that's the average, right? From last night, everybody had like 4 hours sleep. I think that's the minimum to be able to sit here today and to present your final presentation. And you've already chosen a speaker, as I can see. And once he's ready, Alex will start the time for us. But first of all, give it up for the Analyzers. And they will tell me when you're ready? Okay, go.
So our idea to change the world of financing startups with bank guarantees or avals is based on 3 trends. First, during the ICO period, we observed loads of opportunistic entrepreneurs. Second, we observed that banks and investors have a strong desire to steer the companies that they are investing in. And third, there's this unique feature of DLT which provides traceability of transactions. This is why we came up with a vision, the bank guarantee platform on R3 Corda. So in a scenario with 3 parties that are involved in an aval transaction, we consider the following story. This is Raj. Raj is the founder of a startup, and he saved some money for his project. But he is still seeking for another fund that he can buy some essential products from a hardware supplier. Due to a lack of trust in his risky approach, he does not get initial financing. So what the supplier is actually having from this, the supplier is generally interested in new revenue streams and a potentially long-term business relationship with the startup. But without a bank guarantee, like Raj and his team's default risk is simply too high. So the third party, the LBBW, might be attracted by Raj's idea, but since they're not 100% sure whether Raj will put all his effort to make his project succeed, and since they're lacking further control options, they do not provide classical financing.
For this reason, we invented a vision, a bank guarantee platform. A platform where Raj can upload a pre-negotiated contract with a supplier that is contingent on a bank guarantee. He proposes this contract to the network. He proposes the contract to the network, and the banks can sign the guarantee. So, if the guarantee is signed, the contract takes place. What's the value proposition of this? So think about the startup. The platform is an enabler. It receives a backup for its creditworthiness, and Raj can continue developing his idea. For the supplier, it significantly reduces the risk of default without additional effort. And for banks like the LBBW, it incentivizes the entrepreneur to put as much effort into the project as possible because he has to put in his own funds first.
15 seconds.
So why should they participate in this? From the supplier's view, it's the risk reduction. The startup is willing to pay to get more creditworthiness, and the LBBW or another bank could earn money by the fees that the startup is willing to pay. So you never know how reliable an entrepreneur really is. Go for a vision. Thank you.
Give it up for the Evilizers. Thank you very much. And this is the finance challenge. I'm sure Joachim has a question about it.
Yeah, but first of all, I'm interested in the technical development you performed so far. Just give us an insight here.
About the technical development. So they're looking for the right slide.
So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to just show a simple 10-second demo, so that will tell you all the stories. So right now, the entire platform is developed on the Coda, open source. And we have 4 nodes. We have applicant and the beneficiary and 2 banks, right? So suppose this node wants to have money and he is contacting with the beneficiary, and suppose he wants to have a euros 700,000, and that's done. It's recorded in the network, and it's recorded with A. It's gone to B, beneficiary, and suppose he has to take the guarantee from the bank, so he will transfer simply to the bank A. It's done, gone to the bank A, and bank A will do further approve or deny. Simple as that.
Thanks for this demonstration. Do you want to add something, or? No, you're fine. Okay. Another question from the jury. Joachim, are you fine? Do you want to know any more details?
Yeah, maybe one additional question regarding the creditworthiness, which obviously the bank needs to perform in terms of analysis of the beneficiary or the guy who is finally in charge of paying the guarantee at a certain stage. How can you make a bank satisfactory with the credit risk here?
Valentine's bringing up the mic. Thank you.
Like, of course, we were thinking about adding another party to that, for example, some rating company or something like that. But we still believe that the guy who approaches, or the applicant that approaches the bank knows this guy. So we assume that they can, guarantee more than the beneficiary can do. So that's the usual case for Aval, I guess, yeah.
Thank you. More questions? You're fine? Okay. Give it up for our almost winning team. Thank you. So thank you very much. Please vote for this team as well. Please give your comments on this final presentation. Thank you. And we're getting ready for the next one. So, am I already back on again? Yes, okay. I was just asking for the pronunciation. So, Data Park, so it's American, right? Give it up for Data Park. And a lady presenting, and she may start now. Thank you.
Hey guys, so we are representing the team Data Park. This is Alex, Benny, and me, Lisa. The rest of our team, we're in all 7 people, fluctuating all over the day, but 7 people representing Data Park. And Data Park is making parking your car easier than never before. Because we all know parking in the city is a hassle, it's a pain. You never find a parking spot, and if you're in a hurry, then there's even less space. Somehow, it always happens. But, well, overall, Germans spend 41 hours looking for parking spaces. That's a lot of time, and the reason we have that is because there's no holistic way of aggregating all parking spot data because it's all fragmented. The city has some data about their parking spaces, then there's private companies offering parking spaces, and also private people. But there's no way of aggregating it until now, because we decided that there's time for a data platform that brings together all that data from the cars, from the owners, and from the providers, as well as the cities. We want to provide a data platform as well in form of a data marketplace that collects that data and brings it to the people that need it most, you. So, yes.
Hi everyone, let me give you a quick overview of the stakeholders involved in our minimal viable ecosystem, as well as the interaction flow. So first of all, we have our data marketplace with cars driving around the city that can sense parking lots and continuously send that information to the data marketplace. For that, they receive an incentive for providing the information. The second stakeholders are cars that are actually seeking a parking lot. What do? Is that they request a parking spot in the data marketplace and receive a location for that as an answer. The third stakeholders are the cars that are actually parking with the help of our data marketplace. They park and then state the start and end of their parking duration. Furthermore, we have the parking lot owners that are directly paid through the cars and our data marketplace. In return, and before and after the parking lot owners provide their parking lot to the data marketplace and provide a provision for the data marketplace presenting the parking lot. Furthermore, we can implement other stakeholders like investors or regulators in order to spy data and work with it.
This is going to be really fast, so I'm sorry, we only have a little bit of time left. But why is DataBug so amazing? Well, first of all, you can monetize even tiny amounts of data. So the sensor data, you can make money out of that. The car owner, as well as the car manufacturer, can have a share of that. Also, we provide a single point of access to multiple sources, as well that we connect various parties with diverse interests. So you can sell your parking garage, you can get a parking spot, you can automate the payment, and many more. But the most important thing, I feel, is that we develop on-top services. So the data platform can be leveraged to allow new, unique service experience. For example, the car manufacturer now offers a parking service within the car.
So we have to come to an end now?
Yes. Well, this is the end.
Okay.
We thank you. This is our team. And we also did a very small prototype, but the jury saw it beforehand. Sorry, couldn't bring it. Do you have any questions?
Give a hand to Data Park. Thank you. Yes, our jury has questions. We saw a question arising. Karsten?
So did you get your application finally up and running?
Did you get it up and running?
So let's say we focused more on the business model and conceptualizing throughout the weekend. So we have different parts, and we also developed an architecture. So we were planning to use a database and route transactions or route requests that want to access the database via a smart contract. We also started working, however, we had difficulties getting it up and running. Furthermore, we thought of a website where you can then interact with the smart contract, and we also had our dummy car with an IoT sensor on top. It was really hard to park it with that remote. And last but not least, we also thought of an app for the customers to easily interact with the data marketplace.
Okay, so you had a lot of challenges and you did a lot of work. You did your homework. Any more questions here? No? Still thinking about? Yeah, Katharina?
I know a lot of similar applications like that. What is unique about your solution?
So what's unique? Ladies first.
Well, the unique thing is, so for example, if you take I think Bosch is offering something similar, like Park and Joy. They are not bringing together multiple parties as we do. For us, the people that provide the data, they have a benefit, not only that they get the value, but the car manufacturers that provide the data, they get access to the other data as well. They do not have to fear, though, that their data is going to be misused or stolen, but they can, yeah. So that's the value that we bring more than the other people, because we create an ecosystem that connects multiple vendors, or multiple parties, more than the other applications that are already on the market.
Okay, thank you. And another answer?
I would like to add something. By having all the vendors on board, there is additional value on German car industry at all. So That could be an add-on service which emphasizes the strength of German car industry. So that could be a service, at least from the business view, to invest in this.
Thank you. 30 seconds left. Anything else from the jury? No? You heard everything you needed to hear. Thank you very much, and give it up for Data Park. Dear audience, please vote for Data Park now. You have a couple of seconds here, because our next team is already in line. Hyper-privacy is coming up stage as soon as our other team has left. So this takes a while. It's a big huddle. Okay, our next team is approaching the stage. Please give it up for Hyper-privacy.
Going to speak. Who's the speaker?
And our speaker is still programming his slides.
I'm just slow because I didn't sleep
Okay.
so much, so nothing else.
And once you're ready, Alex will give you the time. You ready?
Yeah, I wanted my notes, but I cannot see them.
Well, take your time if you still need a few seconds. We can do a little audience game or something.
Yeah, I will try. So,
okay, we start the time now. Go.
Okay, so we are Hyper-privacy. Actually, we are two guys who met the three other guys, and we met on the hackathon. And we came with the idea about addressing the dangerous goods in transport and using blockchain and IoT. But the thing is that on that journey, we also figure out there is another potential to make a real business case on permission blockchain as a service, and put all that use case in a further perspective. So the first thing is per regulation, which actually brings you slow processes, and it's human heavy. You have limited oversights. That are the key problems in every industry, because you cannot see the frauds, you cannot see the corruption, and it also is cost effective and slowing down the process. And if you are slow and unresponsive, then definitely you are not capable to react on time critical issues. And that is, in my opinion, in my perspective, that is the most important thing in everyday processes, even if you are, it's a personal or business matter. So our objective is to streamline a process in a cost-effective way, that's to offer a common view, to build a trust between parties involved, and handling time-critical issues at the source of the event. How we are going to do it is that we are going to generate the context with the IoT devices, sharing the context between the parties in a secure, private, and permissioned way with rules over the blockchains, and delegating services on the blockchain, which are also depending on the rules with the parties involved. So what is actually our use case here? I will first say that we came up with an idea which can be a business case, because this thing is actually replicable in horizontal and vertical scales in any industry and any particular process. So our use case is transferring dangerous goods. It's the last European directive ordered that everything like this needs to be firstly authorized, and supervisor needs to have entrance in it. Logistics needs to cover a lot of papers, and what we think, let's put a blockchain and IoT provider to handle the pain for them. So on which way? For example, you have the seals. If seal is broken, that's the only way that you know that your package is corrupted. If you put a smart lock, you can transfer it over permission blockchain directly to the supervisor and keep the normal data for yourself as a logistic provider. So that is also one great mechanism to use in other replicable areas. So we have a small prototype here.
Need to come to an end, sorry. Do you still, one last sentence maybe?
Yeah, we have a prototype which is working. Actually, it's two IoT devices created on 12 blockchain, on 12 virtual containers with integrated mobile applications for critical events and web interface.
Thank you very much. Give it up for hyperprivacy. And Alex, our question round is starting now.
Yeah, first question, can you show us the prototype?
Yes.
That's a very good question, Carsten. So they're now going to show the prototype, which gives them some extra time, if they use it. In a few seconds, we are about to see the prototype of hyperprivacy, if everything works out correct.
We hope so.
We still have 2:30. Okay, do you want to say something?
Yeah, so basically from the left side, you see a regulator body who is connected on the same blockchain, on a private chain, and you see a logistic provider who can see all of his event, but only the critical event which happened, and now another one is actually triggered, which means gates are opened, the seal is broken, is coming to my phone. It's also coming to his phone, and is also integrated over the third-party providers, and also it comes to the regulator in the web interface. It's all on the blockchain, on one channel, but on permission manner, which is actually a cost-effective infrastructure, and parties can see what is happening, but only specific information which needs to be shared can be shared between parties in a safe and secure way. That is also what we think is replicable in everyday business.
Thank you. Another question, Carsten?
What is the business case behind it? Who pays for it?
What is the business case behind it? I'm just repeating it for the media.
We have, for example, we can provide with a technical strategy, for example, with IBM, who are actually, or Microsoft, who are behind the Linux, who are in Linux Foundation, and we used the technology who is in Linux Foundation, so they can provide, for example, infrastructure. You have other people who can provide IoT as a strategic partnership, and we can be maintainers of the whole network. We can invite other services to join, to solve the problems of the humans to react on critical events. No matter it's of personal issues or industry-wide issues, we can white label it for some specific source, where if you have a company and you do not want to come to our network, or use our service, you can use it, the same principles to interact with the parties on your specific rules in the network.
Thank you very much. Give it up for hyperprivacy. It's always hard only to have 3 minutes, right? And please vote for hyperprivacy now. Please give us your comments on this final presentation of hyperprivacy. And we're halfway through. So we still have another few teams, and the next team is already lining up. It's, and I hope I pronounce this correctly, Inus Veritas, or they can give me a better shot on this. Is this correct, or how do you pronounce it? Inus Veritas. Ach, Inus Veritas. Ah, and Vino Veritas. Okay. Okay, perfect. So are you okay? Because then Alex will start. Yeah?
Sorry?
Are you already ready to go?
Yeah, it's always scary to be on stage, so...
Oh, it's always scary to be on stage, but you only have to have 3 minutes, so then you're off stage again.
Let's start.
Let's go.
So in today's world of technology, anything put online, yeah, stays there forever.
Can you put it a bit closer?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, before we move on, let me ask you a question. Do you all understand the term fake news? Yeah? Yeah? And so my quest for fake news started with this guy. This guy became president of the United States in 2016. And because of this, yeah, very unfortunate. So, yeah, because of that, I thought of implementing an idea to curb fake news but I didn't had any know-how how to do it. But today I bring you a solution with blockchain, how to do it. So before I show you a real case, this is a video, and try to find out what's wrong in here, what's fake news in this. And the images are brick graphics, so yes. Do you guys already have some bias towards in this video? You already have been trained in with this video to think in some way. But the actual truth is not what you see. In the video you see before, the kids were crossing on the zebra crossing, but originally there is no zebra crossing. So it's a video to manipulate your mind to think the bikers are very dangerous. Don't use bikes, or don't let kids out, things like that. So to curb these things, we implemented our solution. And how I found out, even I was a victim of this. I scrolled through a lot of feeds in the comments to find out some guy commented that there is no zebra crossing in the second camera. Right. And you can view this video here with this QR code. Small. So with the service, what we want to do is to bring ethics in our journalism and to eliminate any propaganda spread by any community or any organization. Yeah, so what solution we provide is blockchaining with the news posts. So with our service, we provide a blockchain service, and we have a plugin which can be showed on your website, and it increases the verifiability of your news on the website. And our business model is based on the content creators who create the content and try to post on the website, and they pay us for all content creation, and we verify them. We do the fact checking, and this is done with the blockchain's Oracle service. Yeah, next.
10 seconds.
Yeah, in the future we plan to implement this with all the bigger media houses and use AI to eliminate the manual fact-checking process, which currently takes time. And yeah, and our revenue will be increased with the better AI algorithm and lesser human fact-checkings.
Thank you very much. In News Veritas. And we will start our Q&A round now. Joachim.
Can you explain the business model behind that? Who is willing to pay for that service?
Just wait for the mic.
Yeah. So suppose you are a freelance journalist. Yeah, your content is based on some other website, and you want your readers. You want your readers to have the opportunity to trust your content. The more trusted you are, the more readers or footfall will be on your websites. So more revenue for you. So it's like reverse economy, like you pay us and we increase your footfall, so you get more money.
Any other? Carsten, yes?
How can you prevent, or how can you say that you are not helping the fake news channel being more spread? Yeah.
So suppose you are like a fake news creator, and sorry, yeah. So if you post 2 or 3 content like this, our Oracle or fact checkers will reduce your ratings or your credibility to your post. And the user itself so this is how our plugin looks like. You can see the trustworthiness of this post. So before a user will read your post, will see this and say, oh, I can trust this content or not. We are the middleman between the trust providers. So fact checkers.
Fact checkers, and also in future the artificial intelligence.
Yeah. So we have all set of facts. Something happened. There's a facts, and based on this, fact checkers evaluate your post and give a rating to you. Does that answer your question? Or even corrupt us or?
Yeah, it's kind of a very complex and difficult problem, but it's, I think the blockchain
Our idea is not to solve the fake news. Our idea is to empower people to identify what is fake news.
So fake news will never go
So
until
the people will have more like critical view on the all of the content which they have, like in front of on their laptops, on their smartphones, and that they will they will only go to the source which provide the verified news. So if you will provide the corrupt news, so you will be out of this market or out of the journalism.
like BuzzFeed model nowadays. They started with like 5 things you will never know and things like that. Now their model is not anymore because people understand these are just clickbaity posts. So people think twice before clicking on it. Sure. So this is totally implemented. We use R3 Coda's blockchain service, and we have a node. So all the big media houses will have each node, and all the content creators will also have the nodes, and they can cite their post to the big post, and you will get trustworthiness level on each transaction.
Okay, thank you. Time's up. Sorry, are we still allowing a last question? Yes? Okay.
The trust checkers or trust readers, I don't know how you called them, they are trustworthy, right? Why do you need a blockchain for that then?
Very quick answer, please.
Sure. So once you see the web post, you don't know what's the history of it, what's the future of it. Suppose the post it posted was on 2017, and you read it, you're okay. You won't go more detail into it. But when you click on our plugin, you will be redirected to a whole history of that post. And fact checkers' actual job is to verify the news, and they are very overburdened by it. That's why we will be replacing them with AI.
So like the content will be like the first chain, like the verified news, and then if someone cite, it will create the second chain, so it will be like the whole chain of the trustworthiness. If the first somehow, for example, the first content will be somehow corrupted and something will be changed, like in the diff inside of the website, then the whole chain will be gone.
Okay, we need to come to an end because we have to stay fair. Give it up for news. There it is. Thank you very much. So we now accept your voting for In News Veritas, our 11th team here on stage. And the next team, I think, is so far the largest team. No? Okay. We have a voting problem. Simona, do you know what happened maybe because they're not able to vote?
Okay, so
what does it say?
Oh, it's directly, okay.
Oh, it says it was closed by the presenter. Okay, we're going to check this and you will be able to vote probably now or at least later on. We just have to wait a few seconds for the voting to be... Is it back again? Ah, okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So please vote now. And the next team on stage is called, how do you pronounce your name? Juve. It's called Juve. It's the largest team so far. It includes 3 female members, which I appreciate. So, and once they're ready, we're about to start with Juve. And they have a prototype as well, which I really like. It's about beer. Not really. So once you're ready, Alex will take your time. Just give me a sign. Oh, no, he's not taking your time anymore. He's just throwing it around.
Everything's like stalling and breaking. And
Well, it sometimes takes a while to switch the presentations. Did you manage to vote now? Everything's okay? Yeah? Okay, perfect. So this is our team Juve, and when you're back with your attention, please give a big round of applause for them and their work. Are you ready, or do you still have a technical problem?
No, we are not ready, sorry. We have technical problems here.
You had them before? Always when it counts, it doesn't work, right? But stay calm. You're on stage, you know.
Yeah.
You have an audience of 400 people. They're all watching you, so relax. No hurry, no stress. And once it's not getting better, do you need to shut down the computer again, or yeah, you okay? Okay. So we start our time now. Go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Juve, and this will revolutionize the way that we consume public transportation. So let me tell you a story about Judith. Judith is a mom, and she wants to pick up her baby daughter from kindergarten. She's in a rush, and she's rushing to the train station. After arriving at the train station, she wants to buy a ticket, of course, so she runs to the vending machine. She tries out a credit card, and the machine returns an error, or it doesn't support a credit card at all. Of course, she also ran out of cash, so that's problem number 2. But she knows that the train is coming. She's in a rush, and she really wants to pick up her daughter from kindergarten, because who wants to leave a child waiting, right? Then, at that point, the train enters, and we have a problem here. But Judith decides to board the train anyway, without a ticket, of course. And this is a problem that we, with Juve, want to solve. So Juve basically has 2 customer relations. One is that to the customer, so a B2C relation to the traveler. And other relations can be made to the mobility companies or, for example, analytic companies, because all trips are recorded in a blockchain, and every party interested can access this data, but the data is, of course, anonymized. So to join Juve, it's actually really simple. You just download the app, install it, register, verify your identity, and set your preferred payment method. And also, you shouldn't forget to set the highest viable rate. And then you can use Juve without touching anything, and I will have my
colleague Ralph presenting the technology. Now, I want you to present our great app with great price offerings for our great mobility providers. So, just a second for our
Can you
live
just
demo.
place the microphone a bit closer to your mouth?
Okay.
Thanks.
Works for me. So, what you see here is our great app. In this case, we are riding the Deutsche Bahn. Our app detected our presence using Bluetooth and automatically checked us in. So, yeah, it's
in a moment.
Presentation
In a moment.
It's a nice wrap.
So you
So, yeah.
go to your trips.
14 seconds to go.
So, what you see here is stored on the blockchain, the start of your trip, the end of your trip, and the costs, etc., the distance you traveled. Thank you.
Okay, give it up for Juve. And I'm sure there are some questions, because I saw some really hard concentration here. We will just start the Q&A round now. Does the jury have something for our team, Juve?
Why does this has to be on blockchain? And which added value does blockchain bring here?
Good question. So all the trip information is recorded on the blockchain, so that, for example, the Deutsche Bahn can review the trip data, but it's anonymized, of course. The other thing is payment can also be on the blockchain. And third,
yeah, you can add value-added services like data analytics using a permissioned blockchain.
Okay, does that answer the question? Any other curious comments or questions by our jury? Still thinking about it, or you're happy with the presentation and no more comments? Okay, looks like it. So you've done apparently a very good job. Give it up for Juve. Thank you very much for your hard work. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, it is actually recommendable to practice those 3 minutes presentations in it, so it doesn't get shocking short when you're on stage. Please vote for Juve now. I hope it's possible. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's working? Okay, perfect. The next team is coming up stage. First, the German team name, Ziedle, they're called. Just 3 of them, as I can see. You look very tired. Did you sleep last night? No? Not at all. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Poor guy. Did you drink enough? Eat enough? Yeah? Okay, if you need anything, tell us. So, are you ready, set to go? Okay, we're starting the time now.
Hello.
This is Ziedle.
So we are disrupting retail with blockchain and IoT. And if you've heard of Amazon Go, we think this is the future of retail. You just walk into a store, you pick up what you want, and you go out. And cameras and sensors inside the store automatically detect what you want to buy, what you have picked up, and they automatically charge you. And now, obviously, other retailers have to build similar stores. Currently, there are 10 Go stores, and by 2021, Amazon intends to build 3,000 stores. And because this is more convenient, customers are going to prefer such stores over traditional ones with long lines. So option 1 they have is to just build their own in-house solutions, each of them. And the problem with that is fragmentation. You'll have 20 different apps with different UIs, and you cannot enter into a store if you don't have the app. And most retailers are not tech savvy enough to be able to implement such a complicated system with cameras and sensors and the payment and all these things. So the other option you have is to use a common standard or protocol on a blockchain. And this is what we do, and we use the blockchain only for registry and not for data. So the retailer and the consumer both have self-sovereign identities. The retailer is registered on the blockchain, so they can be easily found. And all the customer data is stored inside the customer's own wallet. There's nothing stored in centralized servers or on the blockchain. And all communication between retailer and consumer is direct. There's no middleman, or nobody else can listen to that. So our business model is pragmatic. We don't have a token or an ICO. We build and open source the smart contracts, the self-sovereign identity stack, the apps that we build for the retailer and the user, and the deep learning models. We open source all of these, and we charge for an enterprise subscription. So we help to set up this system in stores, and we charge for maintenance and support and customization. So you obviously think that there's a different option. Maybe just use a centralized provider. Why do you need a blockchain? So the first problem is that the first advantage the blockchain has is that this is open source and open protocol. So if you don't like the centralized provider, if you don't like us, for example, everything is open and everything is, the protocol is open, you can easily switch to a different provider instead of being tied into that one that you're using. And in this way, there can be more innovation too, because all the retailers can work together to build a standard that is common in the industry, and the customers understand too. Yeah, and the second one is that we can bring blockchain and retail ecosystems together. So there's a possibility to pay using crypto, although it's not necessary. There are gift card and loyalty programs that we can use, and other possible innovations. And most importantly, there's privacy, so you don't want to store data on a centralized server even. You want this data to be with the user because of GDPR, because of public conscience regarding privacy. And these are some breaches in 2018 that happened, so 150 million customers.
Okay, we need to come to an end soon.
Yeah, so we'll just show the demo now.
Okay, was that the last slide? Yeah? Do you want to quickly show it?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So here you see...
He saved you.
Here you see our app, and in the beginning when you go to like Reve, you're going to, so you'll go to Uport, and here you receive a request from our app that you'll have to approve. It takes a few seconds because Uport's a little slow. But like once you receive a request, you go back to our app, and then you can start shopping. So this is the deep learning model that is running, and you can pick stuff up from it. Zishan, can you pick something up? Yeah, you can just go to that. Yeah, so those. Yeah, so it's on.
Sorry, if you're saying so much, it's better to take the microphone. Can I just? Yeah, okay. I thought it's just one set. Okay.
Yeah, and you can ask other questions. Yeah.
Any other questions? 1:30 to go. Katharina.
Yeah, a beer has a different price tag in one store than in another. How do you manage that?
Because each store is each store has a self-sovereign identity. When you go into a store, you form a direct connection between the store and the customer. It's like a private channel, and through that private channel, all this information is shared.
Okay, thank you. 1 minute to go. Does the jury want to know?
I can explain another thing, that the beer you saw a check mark on that, like a warning next to beer, and that was because a credential was shared by the customer to the retailer, which said that I don't want to have something that has high sugar content, for example. And through that, you see this customization. You could have other things, for example, you share your birthday with the retailer, even though you're visiting them for the first time, you could get a special discount. Or you say that you're a vegetarian, you pick something up that is non-veg, it will automatically say in the app, this is non-veg, so you can put it back. And this is all private directly with the retailer, and you don't have to worry about anything else.
Okay, this is your applause. Siedler, thank you. So please vote for Ziedler now and their final presentation of their project. And next one's already in line. Aha, it's a 6-guys team, our second largest team as well. We already had 6 team members before. And I'm going to ask you how they pronounce, how do you say it? Willatherum, or how do you say that? Willatherum. Okay, so they're called Willatherum. Give a big round of applause for them and their work. And we're switching the laptops. So just for your information, we have another 6 teams to go, another 6 final presentations here during our final pitches. And then we will have a coffee, tea, and cake break, at least for you, not really for our jury, because they will put their heads together to decide upon the final winners. So once our next team is ready to go, Alex will put on our 3 minutes elapsing time on his iPad. We're just waiting a bit. And we're about to be ready. So, how many hours did you sleep?
Few of them.
A few. 3 to 4. Again, 4. So 4 is the average. And still need to check out if the technology works. Okay.
Hey guys,
so
how do you
go
feel
now.
So my name is Alex, and I'm here from Real Ethereum team, and it's really awesome to participate in the hackathon. You challenge yourself, you challenge ideas, you meet so many interesting people around, but all of us, we do have the exact same problem here. We want to find a place to sleep, to relax, and to recharge some energy. And we actually not the only people who have this need. People who participate different life events, festivals, people just who is on the go, they do experience the same problem from time to time. And what we did during the hackathon, we built a solution for this problem. And this solution consists of 3 components. First of all, it's a concept of mobile capsules that can be easily deployed all over the city. Secondly, we built a blockchain platform that keeps the trust and track of all the different conditions capsules are in. And thirdly, we built a mobile application for end user that easily can find, unlock, and pay as he stays in this capsule. So let's jump to a quick demo here. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna log in with my phone. I'm gonna see some capsules around, and fortunately for me, there is one in front of me, actually. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna scan it. Yeah?
Shake
so
it, shake
now, oh, damn.
That's a presentation effect.
1 second.
Should I hold the microphone for you so you have your hands free?
Yeah, sorry, this is
Don't worry, this
demo
happens.
stuff.
It's just your time elapsing. By the way, give a big round of applause for Alex, who's holding up our time the whole time with his left arm. I think his left arm will be numb.
Yeah, so sorry for that cable situation. So now what you can see on this screen is actually quite important. So you can see the different transactions that actually the reviews of individual users. And based on this information, you can figure out if the capsule is in right condition and it suits your needs. So after that, I'm gonna just unlock it. It will take some time, blockchain magic happening there. Yep. Now here we go. So we freeze this small amount of ether, and the clock is ticking. So now I can just walk into the capsule, take a look at if everything is good. I have 5 minutes to see if the battery is good, if the shower is good, and if something is bad with the capsule, I can just click a report, and then I won't be charged, and other users will know this information about this capsule, and more importantly, the capsule provider himself will figure out instantly that the capsule needs to be in maintenance. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just lock it. Yeah. Yeah. So now I just can walk out of the capsule, do my other business, and that's pretty much it. So thank you for your attention, and guys, be relaxed, fun, and healthy with Real Ethereum.
Thank you, Real Ethereum. Thanks for that presentation. Any questions? And the QA round starts now. Katharina?
How big is the market for that? Because you're competing with cafes and some spas who offer 2-hour stays.
Yeah, so this is quite a market with competition, for sure. But we would like to start, first of all, with some airports and transportation hubs. And we don't want to compete against cafes and coworkings, because we're gonna provide a very specific set of conditions where people just are willing to stay in the bed, take a shower, and have a Wi-Fi connection. That will be pretty much it for a moment. So we won't provide other services that cafes and coworkings providing. But right now, this market is growing, and a lot of different companies, they start exploring this space. So a number of capsule solutions are being deployed every month in different airports and different facilities like that.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
still have 1 minute 30. Any other questions? No? So your applause was on the right spot. So give a big hand to Real Ethereum. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for your work and your presentation. So please vote for them now. We're very interested about your comments about this idea. And the next team is coming up. It's the 5th last team, Rocket Billing. I'm very happy about this easy name. Thanks. Easy for me to pronounce. Just 2 of you? You're just a duo? Okay. Give it up for Rocket Billing, ladies and gentlemen. It might have been even more difficult to elaborate an idea if you're just 2 people. So we're excited to see what their concept is, which challenge they admit to. And it looks nice. Billing sucks, so we know in which direction this brings us. So once they're ready, Alex, are you still okay with your left arm? Okay. So your time is starting now.
Yes, billing sucks. Imagine you're a project manager in your company and you just want to make a transaction to pay a service, engineering service, to your other colleague from another department. And actually, it's a mess because you need a lot of time, you have a lot of IT, an ERP, a project management software, and at the end, this all stuff needs a long time and has high cost because for this, you also need controllers, and controllers wants to have a good money. What is the solution, actually? First of all, why blockchain? Because we want to be fast, we want to be transparent, and we want to have real-time the accounting. This means I want to know perfectly what happened, who sent what to whom, when. And for this, the idea is to use Stellar, so an open source blockchain technology. What we did during these days were first to start on the testnet of Stellar and then to continue on the main chain to first create our own token, the ROBI for rocket billing, make transactions, see whether it works. It worked on the testnet, we continued on the main chain. And what you can see here is the result. On the right side, you can see 450 ROBI coins that are in our Stellar wallet. And on the left side, you see the whole history as we wanted to have it. So you see exactly what happened. And the interesting thing is you have it on an app. So you have it worldwide on an app, and it does not cost nothing because it's open source. For the business model, we want to start with the small and medium-sized enterprises who need help. The aim is to help, and then they will show that it works, and then the biggest company will start to be attractive. How do we want to monetize it? First, we want to give a software base that we would completely develop to the company, and then for free. And then the company would have the possibility to continue to do it by themselves, or we provide service because we are experts in engineering. On top of that, we would add a slow transaction fee on top of the transaction fee of the Stellar network. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rocket Billing. You even had 8 spare seconds. So I will now officially open the Q&A round. Any jury member who wants to say or ask something? Jonas?
So why should I choose your solution over a very nice workflow in my SAP ERP system?
Why are you better than SAP?
So you from Daimler, you shouldn't use it. The target is especially small and medium-sized companies, and later on, maybe it's also bigger companies like Daimler. Because you have your environment already existing, but a lot of small and medium-sized enterprises do not have it in place.
So you're too big.
And the second argument, if you prefer to pay millions, do it.
Okay, any other specific questions for Rocket Billing, for our duo? From the finance part, yeah, Joachim?
If I got it right, this works for intra-group services and the reimbursement of that, right? The solution you're offering works for intra-group services and the reimbursement of that. Does it also work internationally? Yeah. I mean, across countries? And how do you deal with the tax issues related to that?
The tax issue isn't solved, but it works internationally, and it works better than databases. Because if you use databases internationally, they are blocked, and it happens that you cannot do any transactions while they are blocked. when using a blockchain solution, the transactions will always follow.
And another answer?
And the additional answer, we want to start small in internal business that is much easier, and then it works, we scale it.
Okay, make some experience before you go to the big fishes. Katharina?
I have to do that one. What about the implementation?
1 minute.
So actually the implementation, we already made it now on the main chain. So we have our Rubicon on the main chain. We will now create a private blockchain on Raspberry, and then we just need to add a new UI, and it works.
And it works. It's that easy. Any other question from our jury? We still have 30 seconds. No? Okay, rocket billing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we now accept your valuation on rocket billing online. Please vote for them now. The next team to come up is Schrödinger's Cats. It's all about cats. We saw a cat on the first slide of rocket billing, and now their name is about cats as well. So it's 2, 4, 6, 7 team members, and they are going to have their technology ready in just a few seconds. Are you still with us? Are you still okay? Do you need some water or anybody fainting? No? Good. So it's just another 4 more teams to go. Yeah, we're waiting for you. No problem. So who's looking forward to a night full of sleep? Oh, just a few of you. So you like sleeping 3 or 4 hours. It's enough for you, right? I personally need 8 to 9 hours to be able to come up stage. So, but there will be coffee soon, okay? So we'll have coffee there for you, some cake and biscuits prepared. And of course, we have our energy drinks powered by Red Bull on the ground floor if you need some more energy to get through the final phase. And
help me find the pointer, please. Because,
you're looking for the pointer?
He needs his notes, otherwise he cannot do anything.
I can.
You can? But then we have to, I think we have to move it here.
Okay.
Full screen.
Anything which is the best solution for you.
Sorry.
But we can wait a bit if you want to. If you still need some time.
I don't know.
A few seconds. And then I hope we can keep going. So the jury is okay. Are you still with us? Yeah, still following. Good. Full of energy.
Is it working? Yes. Okay. Should be okay.
Okay. So give it up for Schrödinger's Cats.
So yes, thank you.
And we start the time now.
Great. Hello, everyone. We want to present you GreenFeed, a smart solution for fine particles matter prevention. And in our team is Robert. And Robert, he owns a diesel. And if you own a diesel, you face many problems, major problems. Especially, there are 75,000 computers alone in Stuttgart who are affected by driving bans. And in Germany-wide, it's up to 1.2 million people with potential hardware retrofits. And besides that, for the city, it's like every car which is produced, it's part of the carbon footprint, and it's complicated to ensure compliance that everyone who enters the city is compliant. So, what is our vision? Our vision is to shape the change, but socially, to green cities, so everyone is involved, and no one who drives a diesel is excluded. We use the blockchain because the case makes it necessary. The blockchain provides an unforgeable registry and real-time payment by using IOTA. Also, we use real-time prices using oracles. In our case, it's about 10,000 real-time oracles. And we are ready for KYC with digital identities for machines, in this case, for the cars. So, our solution?
Here we go. Are ready for a demo? We worked through the night to do it. So, who of you heard of IOTA? I hope lots of you. Here we go. And what we actually did is we had to simulate Robert driving through a city. So what I'm doing now is I first This is Stuttgart, if you see it by any chance. The red places are the ones that have dirty air, and the other places are places where there's not that dirty air. And now I'm finding a path through Stuttgart, and now we're simulating robot driving. And actually, here's Robert, he starts driving. And on the right-hand side, you see that he's going to be charged in real time if he is polluting the air. So let's move into the city. And then you see that there's a transaction popping up, which is actually immediately written on the IOTA tangle on an MAM channel. And as soon as Robert goes through the city, there are more of these transactions or channel informations popping up. And when he goes out of the city, you have noticed that there is not the last one, okay? Because now he's out of the city and he's not polluting that much. Now, technically, this is, as I said, written onto the IOTA tangle and on, no, this was the latest one, I think. I think I have to click on this one, right. And now you see actually all the transactions or all the messages that we have sent to the MAM channel. What's also happening, he's going to be charged in real time. So all the, he can see immediately how much he has to pay to remedy how much he polluted. Excuse me? This business model. The good thing about the business model is that we actually can charge people exactly at the time when they are polluting the air. And we can enable people who have old diesel cars, to use them, even though there are maybe Fahrverbote coming, if they are if they want to pay a little bit of money for it. Okay, so what actually is currently not working is that you see that we already sent the amount of money to a wallet that belongs to us or the government.
And we need to come to an end soon.
Yes.
Just 1 more minute. And?
1 more minute?
Yes.
No. Not possible. We have to stay.
The business
there.
model, it's like at the moment we think that 1 of 3 diesel drivers is going into the city at a distance of about 5 kilometers per day, and there's a fee of 20 cents per kilometer. So we take a 10% commission, and approximately 900,000 euros per annum come into our bags. Yes. There are 8 million euros left for the city, and we want the finder's pollution to be minimized in Stuttgart, so those go into improving transport infrastructure by bike paths, etc., investing in nature with trees, plants, etc., and alternative train solutions. And we're thinking big because we want the city to implement city tax systems, emit or issue green fee certificates industry-wide to take pollution on in this industry, and enable the smart city with City Lights 2.0 with data analytics, because we have a high quality in the blockchain, high quality data.
Are you coming to an end now?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Give a hand to Schrödinger's cats. Just to make it fair, they will get 2 minutes for questions because they surpassed their time a bit. Is there a question for our team, for Schrödinger's cats by the jury? Oh, that's really quick then. Okay, so give it up for Schrödinger's cats. Thank you very much. You did a good job. Thanks for working throughout the night. So you haven't slept at all, or did you sleep a bit? No, not. Ah, yeah. No, not at all. Yeah, sure. Okay, you may vote for their idea online now, please, for our audience prize. Our next team has already lined up and is on stage now. They're called Start Block, a team of 4 members. We're really interesting to hear about their ideas. So there's 3 more teams to come. I already see the second last and the last team lining up. Are you ready? Okay, give it up for Start Block, ladies and gentlemen. Hello? Still sleeping? And we're ready to go now.
Hello, we are Team Starblock and we present our project, Charge Market, create your own charge station. In our project, we concentrate on next problem. Global electric vehicle market is limited by the infrastructure due to lack of charging station. The market of private charging station is not developed. It's difficult for large companies to find a place to distribute charging stations around the world. And in our solution, we present the platform for creating a charge station by any person. Dynamic pricing depending from amount of electricity and income distribution between investors. Private blockchain for members collaboration and off-chain micropayments for fee saving.
So our proposition, it's a marketplace for landowner and private investors. Landowner have an opportunity to create a charging station on their private territory. Private investors have a money and have a desire to invest into this station. So we want to create such crowdfunding system on base of the private blockchain system. So NodeKeeper in this platform, it's such companies which produce electric cars and source of energy. So, and as a payment provider, we use a bank. About technical implementation on this hackathon as a proof of concept, we implement a micropayment channel between driver and charging station. Instead of charging station, we use smart plug, and instead of board computer on the car, we use our laptop. So we can pay for every unit of energy by a utility token inside of our private network. So we don't need to send every transaction into net. We send only first and the last one. We use micro-rating to do it. So let's show our prototype, which consists of 3 parts, and you see it. Yeah, it is it.
This one?
Yeah, you can see it later if you want it.
Okay, guys, let's break it down with a small example. So we have a quite nice car, right? Okay, go on. We have a quite nice car. Let's just switch to internal of it. So we're opening our application, and the first thing we're trying to find the nearest charging stations. So depending on the current actually load, I mean electricity load, we're trying to find the most available stations. So we're pushing, selecting one, and see the price and heading out to this charging station. So once we headed out this station in a couple of minutes, we are plugging our charge, right? Yes, and we see our current level actually, and how much this charging station has on the board. So we issued the first transaction. After you see the current actually progress, and this is onboard computer on the upper right. So once we're finished, we send the final transaction that went through the table you're seeing right now, and in a couple of hours, you're receiving a push notification to your smartphone, which is saying like, it's okay, you're fully charged, so come here and pick up a car.
Okay, we need to come to an end soon.
Yeah. So that's our team. Thank you for your attention. Please, questions.
Start blog, ladies and gentlemen. And you get a 3-minute Q&A round, which starts now. If the jury has a question, of course. Do they? Yes, Jonas?
So what do you expect as a market value for, so where would you start?
Microphone before you answer. Thanks.
Where should we start? What country do you mean? Yeah. First of all, now the most electric cars are spreading in the Norway, for example. It's very high. We want to create such system in Norway, first of all, because in Norway and in Europe in general.
Could you hold the microphone a bit closer?
Yeah. Want to use electric cars, but there are no ability to use it because of a problem with charging point.
Katharina?
Yeah, maybe charging will be mobile in a few years. What about your solution then? Will it be disrupted?
Mobile, what do you mean? So. And in few years, I suppose it's impossible if there is no such station which. Okay, I can.
I just actually give some additional comments on that. So the car is at the first point just. We have actually another niche of our just the application, I mean. So for example, when you can come into some festivals, right, and you have a lot of people around of you, and all of those use some wearables or just portable computers, or for example, like smartphone, etc., right? So it would be also applicable in those cases. So once you connect to your like smartphone, anything, you plug it in, and just you have some person that's ready to provide you electricity. So in this model might be also applicable as well. So it's completely workable in that case also. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other question? Any further comments from the jury? No, you're fine. Okay, give a big round of applause for Startblock. Thanks. Yeah, we're saving some time here. We're now getting to the second last team. Please vote for Startblock now. And we're getting to our second last team, so only 2 more teams to go to show their final presentation, their work throughout the night, throughout the last 36 hours. And good to see them awake, hopefully awake enough to do their presentation. So it's a 6-members team as well. That was our goal, to have teams between 5 and 8 members. So it's really good to see great teamwork running here with best results, of course, and complementary partners and expertise.
You can turn it around.
And I think they found. Did you meet here, or did you know each other before?
3 of them knew each other before.
Okay. So 3 of them knew each other before, and the rest met here. So that's all about networking, really. Get to know people. So this platform's really helpful for this. And we're really happy that it was so successful and used in such a successful way by our participants.
Yeah,
and once they're ready, give it up for TrustX. And you're ready to go now.
All right, guys, we are TrustX, and we build a platform to help the German Ministry of Finance to reduce sales tax evasion by using the blockchain. So let's get to the story. Here we have Paul. He goes to a restaurant and buys some dinner. After having dinner, he goes probably to the cash register and takes his bill. With the bill, he then pays his bill and gives the money to the system and leaves the store. After that, we have another guy coming in. He's actually the manager of the store. He owns it. It's George. And he's the bad guy in the story because he walks up to the cash register and cancels the transaction, takes the money, and does not give any money to the state. He does not pay any taxes because there's no record of it. That's not just a one-time case. It's actually 23 billion euros every year just in Germany by sales taxes. That means for each of you, it's 268 euros. So I will hand over to Anthony to show you how we solve that.
Hi, everybody. So in solving this and from a technical standpoint and the design of how we're going to use blockchain to enforce tax regulations, what we did is we used the Corda framework and we created a system where we're going to have basically 3 primary actors, which will be passing transactional messages between each other on the blockchain. On the left here, what we have is the seller. When the seller instigates a sale on any item, the point of sale system is going to generate a point of sale state transaction, which will be passed to the government node. On the flow of that transaction, at the same time, is going to be generated an encoded QR code, which is going to encapsulate the main details of the financial transaction, including the value and the tax owing, as well as the transactional hash. This code at the point of sale is then going to be printed out on the customer's receipt. So the customer is going to have a hard copy of this sale transaction. Then what the customer can do is, using our app on the smartphone, the customer is able to basically take that, scan that transaction, and create a buyer transaction, which will be sent to the government through a flow. This buyer transaction is going to encode the transactional hash of the original sale, as well as the details of the seller and buyer. Once it gets to the government, we're able to, through that flow, to correspond and match whether that submitted transactional hash matches one of the hashes on the seller's declared chain of tax sales. So what we did here is we implemented the first part of the system, which is the point of sale, on a Raspberry Pi. This is showing that we had a node going up, which was able to execute flows on Corda. Over here is actually a real generated QR code showing an encapsulated data load, including the hash of the transaction which was sent to the government. And then this is a mock-up of a user interface. So what you're going to be able to do is scan a QR code from any receipt that you've received from a point of sale, and then sign the transaction after overviewing the details and sending it to the government. So here is actually a buyer transaction state in the background, which is running on a Corda node. This is where that transaction that the buyer has submitted is being reconciled against the immutable chain of seller transactions, which has been reported to the government. So over here, this particular case has an exertion which failed, which means that transaction hash from the output state, which the buyer submitted, does not match a transaction that was submitted to the government. So we can consider this was a fraud case.
So
I'm going to pass it back.
come to an end.
All right, just 3 more things. So first of all, our vision is that we will enable on the blockchain bookkeeping. Secondly, it will be also about international fraud, so cross borders. And thirdly, it will be implemented with complementary systems of already existing payment system providers for a new feature for them. So thanks for listening. And you're welcome
Thank you.
to ask any questions.
And the jury round starts now.
So who will pay for your solution?
Who will pay for the solution?
So you mean the business model of it? All right, so the business model is actually implementing it together with already existing payment solutions. So if there's anyone providing the payment solution, this will be a feature on top of it, like for their customers, business as well as private customers. And that would be like licensing. And another way would be doing it like transaction-based. Because we have 2 people who are interested in the system. One would be the state, because he earns like 23 billion euros a year by that. And the other one would be a business. There are some other methods we could include. For example, like pushing the transactions automatically to the state would mean that they are already doing their like tax receipts for the year while the year. So that's like helping with the bookkeeping.
A quick thing to add to that is the government, because they'll be saving so much money, they'll also be able to offer incentives on both sides of this procedure. So you're going to be able to offer a customer like small kickbacks or lottery rewards based on submissions, and you're also going to be able to offer customers sellers based on compliance, some sort of reduced tax rate. In addition to that, for LBBW or other financial institutions, if we can ensure compliance over a longer range of tax declarations, you could structure new financial products that would leverage like structured loans based on the compliance and projected rebates from the government savings.
Thank you. Another question from the jury? Anything else? You're happy? Okay, don't fall off the stage, please. So give it up for TrustX and their solution and concept. Thank you. TrustX, and I saw the jury discussing, so I think they found it very interesting. Please vote for them now. We need your audience votes for TrustX now, please. And last but not least, and if there had been a prize for the best team name, I would have given it to them, because they are called Thank Me Later. Big applause for them, and that's a great name too. Thank Me Later. I'm excited to hear what this is all about. So this is our last and final presentation during the final pitches here at the Blockchain Hackathon 2019 in Stuttgart. And I think we're already set and ready to go. So Alex can start the time now. Go.
So these are the Nike Tempo shoes meant for indoor
you need the
football
microphone.
games. Okay. So, but this is not a photo from advert.
So you need to hold the microphone because
okay.
they can't hear you.
So this is not a photo from advert. One of them is a real one and one of them is a fake one. Can you guess which one?
What's the real one? What's the fake one? Left or right? Right? Yeah, correct.
Yeah, most of them are right. Yeah. But this is not, everyone doesn't have a choice to see, which one is a real or authentic product. And actually this, the fake product industry is $1.8 trillion industry. And there is no way to authenticate the originality of the product. You have the solutions like RFID and QR systems, but they only give you the option to identify it, but not authenticate it. So we thought that how can we make this system, the identification and the verification, hackable? Unhackable, I mean. So we can use a very simple NFC device, which actually has a secure element over it, which saves the private key of the product, and which can be used to authenticate not only the identifier, but also authenticate the product. This NFC device is very compact, okay? It's batteryless, it works without battery, and it's ridiculously cheap. It's very cheap. So how it works, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
So how it works? So first, we used at a project pilot, we used the Arduino Uno, and we soldered NFC shield onto it. And first, we read out the public key from the NFC shield. So that is the identifier. Then we check if this public key is actually on the blockchain in the smart contracts. If it's true, then we continue writing a random message onto the NFC shield. So we send a random message, and then this is the authentication. So we have to see if actually the public key, the person or the device has the private key to that public key. So anybody could take that public key. But we want to see, is this actually his public key? Has he got a private key? So he has to sign that random message and send the signed random message back again. Then we can validate if this public key is actually belong to this device. And now the interesting question is, which corporations would use this?
So normally it's a pretty big industry, and I would say that we can talk about the industry in the question time. Yeah.
So for the identity of the vendors, we use a subdomain on ENS service, so we register subdomains, and with a trust provider, we can ensure that the subdomains are really assigned to the specific vendors. And finally,
yeah, you probably ask yourself how we make revenue out of that. First of all, we sell the hardware where we have our software implemented on the secure element, which generates a key pair, and the private key never leaves the secure element of the device, and so can sign on the device itself. Secondly, we are cooperating with a trust provider, and each manufacturer is registered by the trust provider, and we only give them subdomains of our domains if they are verified by a trust provider. And the domain for each collection where the things of collections are stored costs when it's registered, and we pay a yearly fee, and of course also consulting, and yeah.
Okay. Thank you later. Thank you very
Just
much.
ask your questions.
Thank me later. Give it up for them. And so I think we have to deduct 1 minute from our question round to make it fair. Any questions for Thank Me Later? Jonas.
So how do you deal with stolen RFID chips or recycled RFID chips if I have the Nike shoe before and just take the RFID out and use it in another one, in a fake?
So these are the embedded devices, for example. It comes with a secure element, but we are thinking of creating a self-destruction mechanism. Of course, a secure element is a tamper-proof device, but we want to make it also tamper-destructive device if someone is to try to tamper the device, for example. And it can be done with like a condensator, capacitor, for example, in English. So there are different mechanisms that we can also develop it.
Okay, thank you. Another question by the jury? Anything else? No? Okay, thank me later, ladies and gentlemen. Our last team. So last audience action, please vote for Thank Me Later now. And talking of which, I would really like to thank you that you were so attentive and so silent and quiet while the other teams were presenting their ideas. Thank you very much for being so respectful. Thank you. So before we get to our network break, where our jury really has to go into a huddle and find a final winner in those 5 categories, and 1 category will lie within the audience. We would like you to fill in our feedback forms. You know, feedback is always very important for every event, of course. You can either do this online, and you will see the address right behind me, sorry, on the screen. Or, even easier, if you want to, we have hard copies here, which we will distribute when you're leaving the aula. There will be our colleagues, and they will give hard copies to you. You can fill in the feedback form there too, of course. The most important feedback is how much you like the presenter of the event, just to remind you. And we will now serve cake, coffee, and tea, and we will all meet back here at 5:30, okay? So see you back then. Thank you very much for your attention.